Hello and welcome back to another dose of Slice and Dice Ecom. I'm Josh, I'm the founder of the agency, and we are joined by...
I'm Matt and I'm head of sales.
In this episode, what I want to discuss is more commercial value of SEO and specifically aligning SEO goals with business objectives. It's a really key part of business growth and SEO that too many brands don't think enough about. And I think too many agencies are also guilty of this as well. They don't think holistically. They're just saying, yep, this client wants to rank for this keyword. That is my one goal I'm going to. They don't look at the broader picture. So I guess my first question is, how important is it for an SEO agency to truly understand an ecom brand's overall campaign objectives and business objectives too?
So I was on a call last night with a client and they have got 7 or 8 different channels feeding into their website, but they're not ranking for any, they're a bit all over the place. So by dealing with a multi-channel strategy and then using like remarketing, retargeting, using CRM within it, they're going to do an awful lot better. But if we were just solely there focusing on just your SEO, it wouldn't work on that commerciality. So you can't just focus everything on one particular point. It needs to be a holistic strategy.
So what steps can agencies take to actually understand? So if you're a brand watching this, you obviously want an agency to understand your brand and what you want to achieve, right? So it's going to be like some green flags to look out for. So what should agencies be asking to truly understand that brand?
The journey. Where did they start? Where did the vision come from? What hurdles have they done? If they've worked with other agencies, why did they leave that agency? Truly deep, get into the bones of the company and understand what it is they're trying to achieve.
Awesome. And what about the communication of this, right? Because you're going to talk to a brand to understand their journey, but what are some effective ways for a brand to communicate this to an agency? Because it's not just on the agency to ask, the brand needs to communicate this effectively as well.
So a brand story, even if it's a Loom video, which would then plug for Loom.
Sponsor the video.
Yeah, where, even if it's just a detail of them explaining what they've done, the journey they've gone through, and then also document it so it's something that they can go back to at a later stage. That's what I would do.
Okay, cool. So once a brand's done that, right, they kind of know what they want to do, and most brands have a specific target audience, right? But how can a different target audience shape a different SEO strategy? Should it just be one generic SEO strategy for every brand?
No.
It's just a keyword, right?
No. So I'll give you an example. So we were talking with a prospect into a computer IT management company, IT support company, and everyone's talked to them how they need go for IT support. People actually look locally within certain searches. So then you've got to have 2 strategies. You've got one generic and one local. And then that's what we were going down in terms of our way of working with them. And it is more expensive, but it is the way to do it. And it's the way to do it for long-term growth.
Yeah, I agree. It's like dominating local, national.
Yeah, exactly.
Going more broader, right? Because ranking for one keyword or a couple of clusters is great. But how can an SEO strategy be tailored to kind of increase market share and kind of dominate the market?
So market share generally comes from generic keywords. So not long-tail keywords, generic keywords, because they're what a brand relies on. Therefore, I would actually go after generic keywords if you're trying to go for market penetration, and then work your way back if you're going more for a holistic approach.
Yeah, awesome. And a lot of the brands you work with sell a lot of seasonal products, which obviously make the most of the money in a certain amount of period during the whole year, right? So how can an SEO strategy be tweaked or modified to promote seasonal growth for seasonal brands?
So when it comes to it, you need to make sure that you have your pages live and that you've got a building process. So I'll give you an example. There's a client at the moment that we're talking to who have got expensive Christmas stockings. Now, are they still going to want to go after that term in January? Yeah, because then they build in their flow for next year. So essentially, you need to make sure you always have it on the website, but then you have a content strategy to back it up to then go after those terms moving forward.
Yeah, we have a good thing we do for a lot of clients with Black Friday pages, right? Where we took on this client a couple of years ago and they had the Black Friday page and it had the year in the URL. So it's like Black Friday sales for laptop cases 2023. Yep. And it was like, we can't use that page for 2024. I mean, we can change the title tag and all the text, but it's going to be harder to rank for 2024 terms. You've got 2023. So you want to have your generic URL and then obviously update the text on that page to be about that year. And that works really, really well. And the great thing about it is once you do that page and it's ranking, you have that authority and relevancy, you're only trying to change the ranking for the year every year.
Yeah.
and you've already got that 25 backlinks every year you've built. So yeah, it's really, really effective, and you need to plan way in advance, as you pretty much touched on. So in terms of metrics, right? Because if there is a stakeholder or an investor in the brand and they just want to see, right, how well is this SEO actually doing in terms of the bottom line? Like, what are key metrics that owner stakeholders should be looking at to determine whether SEO is actually producing significant results for their brand?
It depends on what the brand's tracking. So if they're tracking sales, if they're tracking leads, if they're tracking traffic, and see how it goes after time. Have you got a ranking increase? Yes. Are you getting a traffic increase? Yes. Are you getting a sales increase? Yes. Then you say it's working, and you then use medium by medium and actually transact that down to be better performance.
Cool. No, I think that makes complete sense. And what about the flip side of it, right? Because most brands don't have unlimited capital. They want results quickly. They want quick wins. They also want to build sustainable growth. And as you're aware, a lot of short-term SEO strategies that produce results are not the most user-friendly. I wouldn't say black hat, grey hat area. And you can rank quickly, but you can tank, right? So how should agencies approach this, and what should brands expect from a short-term and long-term strategy?
Short-term strategy, not a great deal from SEO. Long-term strategy, transform your business. So, like, for example, a short-term strategy, whenever you do anything for short-term gains, it's generally it's an instant win, but it's an instant win because it is a short-term gain. Long-term SEO, combining into thousands of keywords, expanding into generics, really, really pushing, that's where you see the growth.
And what about when clients come to us or brands are really stuck on their competitors? So they're like, I want to dominate this market. This website has been killing it. Just copy their strategy.
It's not a thing. It's not a thing, because if you copy their strategy, you're always going to be neck and neck. You need to copy their strategy and go better. So copy it better, copy it better, copy it better. Just keep adding layers and layers and layers of complexity to make it even better.
I also find if you just base your strategy on just copying another brand,
Yeah,
if they don't know what they're doing, which half the time they actually don't know what they're doing. This is a junior in the office watching videos on TikTok and implementing these weird stuff. And the great thing for these large brands like Argus, B&Q, Homebase, they have so much authority. They don't even need to do high quality SEO. They just put a keyword on the page and they rank number one. So if you look at that and say, I want to rank like Argus, I just got to put my keyword here. That's not going to work for you.
No.
There's so much more you need to do. So I think, copying someone isn't the best scenario. You want to just know you want to follow what works and just do it for a long time. And unfortunately, SEO, like you say, many times does take a long time to kick in and get results, but there's no shortcuts. The shortcuts all for 9 times out of 10, and the shortcuts a long way, right? So what we hear often from discovery calls you do is like brands aren't happy with the current SEO agency. So what advice would you give to them if they're not happy with what they're getting from the current supplier?
I would get another agency to do an audit, and when the agency do an audit, even feed that back to your current agency to say, why are you not doing this? What is the reason? How can we either continue to work with you and actually get the best out of you, or jump ship to another agency who actually takes time and cares about your brand?
Do you feel like there's an issue with brands contacting other agencies because that other agency potentially could just want to just kind of tell them other incorrect information to sell them and land the deal as well?
Potentially. And sometimes, as you say, this is smoke and mirrors, this industry. So you do have to be very, very careful. But I do believe that to get a holistic approach on it is where you need to be.
Yeah, and I guess if you're unsure, you should contact 2 to 3 agencies. And if all agencies are saying the same thing, it's probably a very strong signal that what they're all saying is quite true, and you probably should have a discussion with your current agency for sure, and see what the excuse is.
Yeah, exactly.
Because most agencies love giving out excuses, right? I'm so sorry we didn't update the title tag because there's an algo update, and I was just checking what happened for like last 2 weeks.
One wasn't there? There was one recently where their ranking swivel chair is a really decent term for what they do. They only have swivel chair in the title tag. They have nothing else within it. No meta description. It was just pointless. So yeah.
Cool, awesome. So how can SEO strategies change to support the growth of an ecom brand? Because we work with so many brands that have maybe 10 different collections, thousands of products, and they say, we're launching this new product, a new collection. We need you to update the SEO strategy to incorporate that. How can that actually happen, and what are the benefits of already doing SEO to then get growth and more visibility for your new product range?
So effectively, the best thing to do would be to work on what's important to the business at that moment in time. And what's the good from profitability point of view? Because they could be working on this, say socks, for example, and those socks have then had a price hike. So actually, commercially, it's not as good as if they were to go for these boxers, as an example. So that's where the company needs to then look at it and obviously enable their SEO strategy to pivot based on the business needs.
Yeah, I think very well said. And you probably get the question a lot. I used to get it a lot when I used to do sales calls. It's like, I want to do SEO, but I just don't know what product range to focus on. And if you don't know, let the search volume dictate and let your profit margins dictate.
Yeah.
All we care about is getting you seen and making you money. I'm not
Yep.
really too fussed whether you rank number one for boxes or socks. If you're making money, you're happy. If you're happy, I'm happy.
Yep.
If we're both happy, we're all happy.
Everyone's winning.
Everyone's happy.
Everyone's
happy
winning.
day, right? So going back to the goal thing, right? And we can round off this episode with this last question is, we all know what businesses want. We know the commercial value. We know what we've been seen for. It comes to search intent. They want to make money, right? But how often should brands be reviewing their SEO strategy to determine, is this actually working?
So I'd review it quarterly, the actual strategy itself, but obviously keep your monthly reports coming in to understand how's the SEO agency doing, you know, and working back a strategy from that.
And if you want something changing your strategy, should you be spotting that, or should the SEO agency be spotting that?
The SEO agencies should be the ones proposing it, but obviously they're not in your business day to day. So you know, it is a collaborative point.
Yeah, I think we'll end it on there, like collaborative point. The agency can tell you what they think you should do different, but what they think may be wrong because you may have literally no profit margins on that product range. So it's definitely more of a partnership. And I think if brands probably took a step back and just said, I've hired this agency, they're third party, they want to help us grow. They need to be part of your business to actually
100%.
truly understand your products, your AOVs, your LTVs, your CA, like all these abbreviations that just probably sound like rubbish to people that don't know what we're talking about. But it's crazy how many acronyms we have in the industry, right? We like to keep things more straightforward and simple.
Yeah, simple.
Because if you overcomplicate it, you probably don't really truly understand it.
No, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Anything else to add? Or
Nothing from me.
perfect.
All good.
Good. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. As always, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, not hit the door, like I said in previous ones.
Yep.
Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in another one.
See you later, guys.